Welcome back to the Print 3D channel and another episode of the Random Print. On this episode of the Random Print, we're going to check out this dragon. Welcome back. I'm glad you could join me here on the Random Print, here on the Print 3D channel. I'm a huge fan of dragons, and when I saw this sculpture up on Thingiverse, I knew I had to print it. And since I have a gMax printer, I want to print it big. But first, let's print it out at about 150% of original size and see how it looks. We'll also take the printer down to 50% speed just to make sure we capture all the detail. So let's head over to Thingiverse and download our model, slice it up in Slicer, and get it ready for printing on the gMax 1.5 XT+. Okay, so here we are at Thingiverse. Here is Aria the Dragon by Loubie. I believe I'm saying that name right. Looks like a pretty cool model. Let's check out the thing view. Okay, so this looks pretty cool. This is going to be a fun print. I'm looking at some really detailed feet, a tail that wraps around the base, some legs that join up with the body, and of course these wings. These look awesome. So let's go ahead and download this thing and head over to Slicer and slice it up for G-code. Okay, so here we are in Slicer. I went ahead and dropped the model down on the print bed and enlarged it up to 150%. You can do that by just hitting the scale button and putting in the size you want. Let's check out the print settings. For this model, we're going to use our usual 0.16 millimeter layer height and our first layer at 0.28, 3 perimeters, 4 top layers, and 4 bottom layers. For infill, we're going to go with 20%. My skirt and brim is always the same, 4 loops, 10 millimeters from the object at 1 layer height to make sure my bed is completely level. For the filament settings, we're going to go ahead and use 210 and 213. The reason I'm doing this is I've noticed that the clear or semi-transparent filament seems to work better at a higher temperature. So let's go back to the 3D view here and check out the preview. Okay, so here's the preview. Let's see how this thing slices up. This is going to be very cool. I can't wait to print this. But we're going to print this low and slow to capture all that detail, folks. So let's go ahead and export out our G-code and head over to the gMax 1.5 XT+ and get this printing. Okay, so I've got the G-code loaded up on the SD card. Let's go ahead and load up our Shaxon PLA in the color of red and fire up the printer. I'll set up a time-lapse camera and I'll see you guys on the other side. Okay, so the print is done. It took a little over 6 hours, not too bad. I already cleaned it up a little bit, and I'll show you some interesting things here in the time-lapse. It appears that the printer was spitting out filament because we were running at such a slow speed and a high temperature, and they were making little spikes in between the wings, and there was some on the back of his head too, but other than that, this turned out amazing. That Shaxon PLA in the color of red really looks cool. I'll put some close-ups in at the end of the video, but this thing turned out awesome. Even his belly is nice and smooth. There's very little overhang issues here. I think running it at 50% really helped, but it did develop some issues, so another give and take issue here where we're going to have to figure out speed over cooling, over flow, over temperature. A lot of things to work out with 3D printing. It's not just plug and play, folks. So once again, the Shaxon PLA turned out awesome, and the gMax 1.5 XT+ performed perfectly. So thank you again for joining me here on the Random Print, here on the Print 3D channel. Be sure you subscribe to the channel, comment and like on those videos, and join me again on the very next episode of the Random Print.